Hi, this is Derek. I have another VHS Memories video review for you for today. Today's video is the classic holiday film, Home Alone. You know you're a 90s kid when you know every fucking word to Home Alone, which is absolutely true. Whether you're my age, younger, older, everybody knows this movie. It's been playing ad nauseum on TV for years and years and years every time. Around this time of year. So everyone knows the basic plot of it. You know, the McAllister family, they go to France for Christmas vacation, but guess what? They leave Kevin, played by Macaulay Culkin, home alone, and he has to deal with that. And there are also two burglars looking to rob the house, played by Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci, and Kevin, he has to get shit done. He has to defend his household. That's the gist of the movie. So I guess, you know, my memory of this is Christmas related. So I hope you're still sort of in the holiday spirit. I know Christmas has been a few days away, but maybe it's just fading away, dying out for right now. Still enjoying some leftovers and some chocolate, which I always do. But the memory is it's Christmas 1991, 92, just as this came to home video, I suppose, probably 91. And, you know, it's kind of around that time when they were really, really pushing for the home video market. You know, don't rent, buy this, own it forever. And I guess I have this, still the same VHS. But, you know, they would do that with, like, Batman. They really pushed buying the cassette tape. With Ninja Turtles, really pushed buying the cassette tape. Same with Home Alone. This is, like, one of the... Up to that time, I think this was the highest-grossing movie ever, possibly, or at least in the top 5 highest grossing movies of all time. So this was an insanely popular movie, and so it would so happen to find itself under my tree Christmas morning, 1991 or so. And I remember distinctly, it was wrapped in like newspaper. Like this gift, it wasn't specifically for me, but kind of the tradition was, and I'm sure I'm not too different, or my family wasn't too different, was that, okay, there'd be, you know, presents for mom, dad, the kids, whoever, you know. This is for you, this is for you. But then we have this gift. This gift is for the whole family to enjoy. And Home Alone would be one of those gifts. So first thing I noticed about it was how it was wrapped so differently. Not in like Christmas wrapping, but in, you know, newspaper and shit. So I was like, what's going on here? So I would probably assume it was maybe a last minute impulse buy. Like maybe, you know, my parents were at the checkout, you know, had a big stack of Home Alones for a cheap price. I wouldn't, you know, put it past them to have it for maybe at the time $9.99, $11.99, so somewhere around there, somewhere cheap comparatively. Like usually the high price would be what, like a Blu-ray's worth now, so around like, you know, $19.99, $24.99, somewhere in there. So, whatever. That's basically the memory. So, of course, my family watched this on Christmas. We enjoyed it. We loved it. And it's Home Alone. It's a fucking classic. What can I tell you? Really good movie. It still holds up to this day. And I swear I've watched it just about every year since then. And the thing is, I'm not really that big of a Christmas movie guy. A little bit goes a long way for me. Not that I'm like a fucking Grinch or a Scrooge or anything like that. I like Christmas. I think it's alright. But you know, you will never see me do like, oh, 31 days of my favorite Christmas movies, all month long. No, God, no. A very little bit goes a long way for me. But this is an essential one. This is one that I do have to watch every year, I'd say. Just because I don't know, it is partly nostalgia, but partly it is because it is such a good movie. And the thing is, I would say it's not too Christmassy, if that makes any sense. Like, it's not like trying to push the Christmas spirit on you. Like, say for example, if this movie, if the plot of it was the McAllister family, they went on summer vacation to France. Be almost the same thing when you think about it, except they, you know, wouldn't have you know, kind of the stuff with like Santa. You know, there's a scene where Kevin talks to the one of Santa's helpers. And you know, probably wouldn't be all that stuff with the old man, at least not at the church, talking about, you know, oh, the spirit of Christmas, everyone's welcome here. Oh, I need to talk to my son. Blah blah blah, stuff like that. So I think just because it has the backdrop of Christmas, it makes it a little bit more magical, I guess you could say, and it actually has a lot of good opportunities for, you know, the traps and stuff. One, it being winter. Two, you have all the Christmas ornaments as traps, which I love. Anybody, young or old, knows exactly how Daniel Stern feels when he's like stepping on one of those fucking Christmas ornaments, like know how you feel, buddy. But that's one of the sort of infamous things about this movie. Like, kids were nuts for this, and I was no different. But one of the rites of passage sort of was, okay, let's fast forward to the traps. So that's kind of what I would do. Which, the trap scenes are fun. And that's the thing, too. It's like, it's not really a very dated movie, really. I mean, there's certain plot elements, like, oh, the phone lines are down. Meanwhile, Kevin could just, like, go on Skype and be like, hey, Mom, I'm fucking home, whatever. But, they have certain contrivances. Like, there's a storm the night before that cuts out the power, cuts out the phone line, so he can't get into contact with the house. Things like that, little things like that. And he has fun with the VCR and stuff. So there's a little bit of dated stuff. But it's the thing is, when you get right down to it, the primary appeal in the comedy, at least in like the last act of the movie, kind of the big headliner, the thing everyone's seeing the movie for, it definitely is the traps with the villains, I should say, Daniel Stern, Joe Pesci, and it's slapstick. It's really good slapstick. I mean, for the beginning of comedy, Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton, Three Stooges, whatever. We like, seeing people fall over, get hurt, and things like that. Not to diminish, those I just mentioned. That's all it is. It's not. But that's not all Home Alone is either. I mean, I think it has, to the comedy slapstick centerpiece of the movie, like the main attraction of the movie. I think they've kind of set it up well, so that there is a genuine payoff. Like, they've set things up with, Kevin being the black sheep of the family, and his relationship specifically with his mom. And the mom, Catherine O'Hara, just absolutely determined to get to her son, which there is a heart to it. But I don't think any of it is too overbearing. I think it's just enough, because be-all, end-all of this movie, it's a cartoon. Essentially, it's a fun cartoon. It's like, as timeless as Bugs Bunny and Yosemite Sam, or Roadrunner and the Coyote, like that kind of stuff with Kevin and the burglars, which I think is really funny. The traps are really good in this movie. What can I tell you? And it is such a joy to see those two bumbling idiots. I think, the performances from Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern, they're exactly what they should be. They know exactly what kind of movie they're in, so it's kind of funny. Even, like, Daniel Stern, he's so goofy and over the top. I think this is, like, one of his best movies. He almost sounds like he's, like, trying to do, like, a Beetlejuice impression, sort of. Like, he kind of sounds like that, you know what I mean? He's like, oh, kids are real dumb, you know what I mean? And so, something sort of like that. Meanwhile, Joe Pesci's like Joe Pesci, but like you can tell he's like trying not to swear really bad, like stuff like that, which would be really fun. There's got to be there's got to be outtakes of this movie, deleted scenes on the cutting room floor in the Hughes estate vault somewhere, where there's like raw footage of Joe Pesci accidentally swearing, which I would love to see. Oh, I'm gonna get that fucking kid, I'm gonna rip his fucking throat out! Oh, that'd be so funny to see. Oh, man, please, anyone at Fox, if you're watching this, send me that footage if it exists. You know it exists. But anyway, all that's really funny. And I think, the whole concept is something that kids can relate to. It's like, hey, what if, my family disappeared one day? How would I cope? How would I, get by and things like that? So I think it, plays into that kind of fantasy. Not that, like, Kevin is, like, a super realistic kid. He's definitely a kid written by adults, very obviously, but he's written as, kind of like, he is like this, he's like a Bugs Bunny kind of kid character, I think. And so I think that plays really well with the comedy. And you gotta give it up to Macaulay Culkin, who's fucking excellent in this movie. So good for a child actor. No wonder, he exploded the way he did, becoming like this icon of the 90s. He really was brilliant in this movie. And of course, there was the sequel and everything like that. I thought Home Alone 2: Lost in New York was pretty good too. Same old stuff, but satisfying, I think. I'll throw it on, and though I do have this VHS, I should let you know that I do now own it on Blu-ray. So I have 1 and 2. This is the collection with 1 and 2 in it. I like VHS and everything, but good to get the upgrade. You can find this anywhere pretty cheap, less than $10, I'm sure. So definitely pick up the Home Alone collection, just the first 2. I don't even know how many other sequels they made. I know they made a 3rd one, I sort of remember. There was like a parrot in it, and Scarlett Johansson was in it. Whatever. There was a 4th one where they like kind of retconned it to be like Kevin is still young, Harry and Marv are still on the loose, but Harry is played by French Stewart instead of Joe Pesci. I think it was a made for TV movie. I don't even fucking know. And then there's one, I think it's a fairly recent one, Holiday Heists, and I know Malcolm McDowell's in it. I haven't seen that, but yeah. So haven't really paid much attention other than the first 2. I think they should really go for broke. And they should make a proper 3rd film. Make it a reunion film. Get Macaulay Culkin back. Get Joe Pesci back. Get Daniel Stern back. Reunion film. All the 20 plus years later. Kevin's an adult, Home Alone. I guess it's not that funny, but they can make it work. I don't know how they can make it work. I'd love to see that. Don't tell me you wouldn't want to see that. They're always making these way too late sequels to comedies anyway. Dumb and Dumber 2 came out this year, and it was a huge hit. And Twins 2 is on the way, so they're running low on ideas. But I'd like to see a Home Alone 3 done right. Just make it happen, Hollywood. But anyway, I enjoy the movie. I think it's a classic. All the cast is great. Macaulay, Daniel, Joe, great trio. Great slapstick comedy, and probably the highlight actually that I've grown to appreciate more and more as I watch it as an adult is John fucking Candy. John Candy is just, he, in a very small role, he takes this movie over. He gets everything, he gets shit done in his little cameo appearances. The Polka King of the Midwest, or whatever, was such a funny cameo. Like, the biggest laugh for me, at least in adulthood, is like in the last 10 minutes of the movie where he's talking about he accidentally left his kid in a morgue. When he was younger, he's like, oh yeah, that kind of thing's traumatizing for a kid, but he snapped out of it after a few weeks. After 7 weeks, he started talking again, so that was real good. So funny. Miss you, John Candy. You're the best. But anyway, if for some reason you haven't seen this movie, I would implore you to take a look at it. I'm sure, you can find it anywhere on TV, like right this moment, still while they're playing the holiday shit. They'll probably play it up until New Year's. Go to Amazon. I'm sure you can find the Blu-ray set very, very cheap. But yeah, so this is a movie it's always been in my life. It has pleasant memories of Christmas time, and yeah, nostalgia of childhood watching this movie. But there is something about it that I think lasts, whatever it is. It's just, it is family friendly, but it's not insulting to your intelligence. The slapstick is well done. It's well choreographed for what it is, and the heartwarming stuff. It is well done. It's not too overbearing, which I appreciate. Not that the music is swelling as much as it would be in another movie, but meanwhile it's John Williams, and John Williams' score in this movie absolutely brilliant. John Williams, name a better composer. You can't. He's just an absolute legend. And this is another one of his great scores. It's very mischievous and Christmassy, which is good. Like, you could play this movie at fancy Christmas party or something, and people will be like, "Wow, what is this?" It's John fucking Williams, Home Alone, whatever. Anyway, that's my review. Home Alone. Check it out. Check out the sequel, Lost in New York. And Hollywood, please make Home Alone 3 the proper version. Get that trio together. Make magic happen. that's my Christmas wish for next year. So, thanks very much for watching, and it's still technically a holiday, so I wish you happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all that stuff. Comment, rate, subscribe, and until then, I'll see you later.